Guys, you have 4 minutes to go. So you're down to the wire again.
The clams are all cooked. I think I'm just going to rest it now with a tea towel over it.
The colour and the smell of it looks really nice.
It looks good, but
One of the things that really stood out to me was just the different colours of the paellas. You know, Sandra's looked almost bright red, Julie's looked quite dark, and Aaron's was much lighter than both. So we're sort of really looking at 3 different dishes here from the same recipe, which I think is going to be a good thing for the judges.
Right, guys, you've got 1 minute to go. That's 1 minute.
You know, Julie and Sandra are sort of struggling to finish. I'm actually finished and I'm where I want to be. So I'm thinking that I'm in with a pretty good shot here. It's looking fairly good.
Aaron's really on target. It'll be interesting how it tastes, obviously. It tends to be his only downfall.
Wow.
I'm happy with what I've made today, but I don't want to be too confident because you don't know what they really want.
I can smell burning.
I started to get wafts of burning, and I could kind of hear her rice popping a little bit, which means it's getting too dry. And the burning smell indicated to me like maybe her crust was burnt. So we thought she was a goner.
Your time is up. Please step away from your stations.
I do finish my dish in time. I'd like to be happy with it, but I don't know whether or not I should be, and I have a bit of a, I don't know, like a crisis of confidence, I suppose. I've become very fond of these people. We've been thrown into a pressure cooker together, and you just get to know people fairly quickly under these circumstances, and I'm fond of everybody. I guess it sort of hits me that I might be going home.
Coming up, it's crunch time as the 3 contestants face the judges.
The worst dish means that person will go home.
Julie, Sandra and Aaron, you've just cooked a traditional Spanish paella. The judges will now move to the restaurant to taste each of your dishes. The person who's cooked the worst dish will immediately go home. The remaining 2 will get to stay and move further in this competition.
It's my turn to take my dish to the judges. Being my second time in that room is an embarrassment, and I think there's a very real possibility that I'm the one who's going to be asked to leave.
Julie, how did you go?
I hope it's all right. Not really knowing the dish, I'm really not sure.
So what are you concerned about?
Flavour. I'm just concerned that I haven't put enough flavour into it.
Did you achieve that crust on the bottom of the pan that we were all talking about?
I'm not 100% sure. I think it's there.
Why the tears earlier?
I'm a teary person. It's nothing melodramatic. It's just everything's very close to the surface, and more so in here than out in the real world.
Do you think that dish is enough to keep you in the competition?
I hope so. I really hope so.
OK, Julie, thanks very much. Time for us to taste your dish.
Thank you. I walk out of the restaurant. They're tasting my dish. What's done is done. I just have to wait for the result.
You know, if I was served this up in a Spanish restaurant, I think my first reaction would be goody, lots of mussels. My second reaction would be, hey, where's the rice? Because there seem to be an awful lot of mussels and not a lot of rice.
George, would you like to serve up?
Yeah.
Thank you. The sofrito that she's used at the beginning is not overpowering, so you're getting those nice sort of saffron, sweet spices, the paprika. The rice is just a wee bit overcooked, but it's not a disaster.
Aromatically, it smells really fragrant. And the balance of the sofrito is quite nice.
It's a good, deep, rich, complex flavour.
The crust isn't as even as it should be.
Look, it probably could have done with a few more minutes just to really toast it up and give it a kind of crust that comes away in one piece. But I think for it to be a true paella, it has to have a bit more rice.
It's my turn. It's just the most horrible feeling, having to actually put my dish, put my heart onto a table and be judged.
Sandra, your father's Spanish?
Yes.
High expectations.
I know.
Is it the best paella you've ever made?
No, it's not. It's not the best paella
Why
I've
not?
ever made. I don't know. I just think that it's a very different paella to the way I make it.
What about the crust?
The crust, there is a crust at the bottom.
Yeah, good. Thank you, Sandra.
Thank you. When I walked out of the restaurant, I felt relieved. There's nothing I can do now. All I have to do is just wait for the verdict.
Wow, I mean, this is an epic, you know? This is what I want to eat. For me, a tad too much saffron, but it's got a real guts of flavour, which I do like about it. And let's face it, it's Spanish. And that's what's so beautiful about this culture and cuisine.
And it looks totally different to the other one. It's very saffrony, which sort of dominates the dish, but it's not unpleasant, and I do like it.
It's a generous, expansive, flavour-packed, rich, delicious paella. That crust, it's pretty good. This is holding together a bit better here. I still think it could probably do with another couple more minutes just to get it brown, but that's great. That's really nice.
When you're waiting to go into the judges and have your dish judged, it's nerve-wracking because you start second-guessing everything on your dish. I really don't want to go home, so I hope they have good things to say about it.
Aaron, how do you think you've gone?
I hope I've gone all right. You know, I really enjoyed it.
Wow.
I enjoyed actually making the dish, and yeah, I'd happily sit and eat it.
So did you have any problems with the dish?
Salt, saffron haven't been my best friends during this competition, and I just wanted to make sure there wasn't too much salt, wasn't too much saffron, and everything was there.
Confident about your crust?
Yeah, I'm pretty confident. I mean, the only time I've made a crust was a couple of years ago on a risotto that I burned the absolute bejesus out of it. So having to do a crust like that, I think, yeah, it's pretty good for a first time.
Thank you, Aaron.
Cheers, thank you.
Walking out of the restaurant knowing the judges are tasting my dish, all I can hope is that they enjoy it. I'd like to think mine's the best, but yeah, you never know.
Let's see if it tastes as good as Aaron thinks it does.
Look at that crust on there. That's fabulous. That's the best of all of them. It just makes me want to tuck in. The crust is good, but the rice, to be honest, is a touch on the bland side.
He's let himself down with the flavour, because you look at that crust and you go, wow, it's telling me I'm going to dance a salsa, but I end up dancing a foxtrot.
The crust is undeniably good. However, the rice, it's very dry, and although there's lots of it, I'm not so sure I want so much of it.
Yeah.
It's a conundrum.
We've got a tough decision.